everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I haven't made videos in the past couple weeks. Actually been traveling a little bit and pretty busy with work, but looking forward to getting some more videos out there. So what I wanted to do is talk a little bit more about owning this car for a year. So I've had this car just over 13 months at this point, actually going to be about 14 months soon. And I want to talk about what I love about the car, some of the things that I don't like about the car, and talk a little bit more about the current modifications that I do have on the car currently. So as you can see, just looking at it, let's sort of talk about the modifications, and then you know, what I like about the car and what I don't like about the car. So I have white line springs. As you can see, the car is lower than it used to be. I'm sure you can Google a stock height, but it's pretty raked up in the rear, and I hate that look. So one of the first modifications I did within the first year was getting white line springs. I love it so far. I think the ride is much more comfortable. Obviously it's lower, so you got to be a little more careful while driving, but I am overall happy with the white line springs that I have on the car. The very first mod that I did were these mud flaps. So I got these pretty much ordered the same week I purchased the car. So as you can see here, I went with the Rally Armor Nitrous Blue mud flaps, and I also did the DMB gel inserts right here, as you can see, to match the calipers, also match the mud flaps. Also, if we want to take a look at the inside real quick, there's my cob axis port. So I have a Mountune tune. I actually just sent Randy another data log, and so I'm going to get a revision pretty soon. Here is a custom Billetworkz RS, as you can see there, reverse 1 through 6 RS. I think it's pretty cool. I like the color of it. It's a little heavier than stock, and I like that too. Also got this. I don't know if it's going to come out pretty clear, just like a RS push start badge, so that's pretty cool. Outside of that, interior wise, I have not done anything else. Everything else is pretty standard. I need to find a better spot. I don't know if anybody has a better spot. I know some people have like a pillar mount right here. I definitely want to find something better. I also took out that padding right there, the floor mat. So one thing I don't like about is when you're shifting, sometimes your foot gets caught on that door, on the floor mat. So I got rid of it. It was just driving me nuts, so got rid of that. Also, I did a video a couple weeks ago on this carbon fiber door pillars. I think it looks great. I think they're $30-40, something like that, and it came out just, they look awesome. I love it. And I did sort of goof up on one of them on this side. You can't really tell, which is cool. You know, for me, I can tell. So that's that. Also, I have a Scorpion exhaust. There was a special, it's like 30-40% off, I can't remember now. So decided to purchase that. I love the sound of it. It's great. I can make a video about that a little bit later. You guys, I'm sure there's other videos of the Scorpion exhaust Catback. I think it's really cool. It sounds great, especially when you're throttling it. So that's sort of what the car I've done with it. Now, if we sort of look under the hood, I took the engine cover off, so there's no engine cover there. I might actually do some paint work to the engine cover. Haven't really decided yet. I got the Mountune inlet right there. So this stock intake is pretty efficient. As you can see here, it's pretty thick all the way around. Here, the stock version of it's rigid, so it doesn't make the airflow as smooth. I did also the air filter. I got some carbon fiber pieces right here, got some carbon fiber pieces right there as well, and changed that dreaded I don't even know what it's called, but the thing that you put up to hold up the hood, I hate that thing. So I got rid of that too. It also has a rear motor mount, Mountune rear motor mount. It also has the Mountune recirculation, or the bypass valve. I changed that as well. The next step on the car actually is to get a new intercooler. So I live in Texas, and it is hot as heck. So a good upgrade is upgrading the intercooler, because it just keeps the temperature, the charge temps, more consistent. So I'm planning on doing that. I'm going to go Mountune with the entire toolkit as well. So the up pipes, down pipes, charge pipes. Sorry, not down pipe, the charge pipes for the intercooler. So I plan on doing that. So that's sort of it right now. Again, I'm getting my the map revision right now by Randy. So should be getting an updated version to my map pretty soon. Another thing that I have, so if you look at the car, I know the wheels are turned, but if you look at the rear, I hope you can tell, it's pretty flush with the body. So another thing from factory is these are I believe 8.5s, but it is very tucked into the car, and I don't like that look whatsoever. So what I did is I got DZX 15mm spacers. They're great. If you do go 15mm spacers, you do have to get a special type of lug nut because you won't be able to get the normal thread count or turns with regular factory lug nuts. So if you do go 15, which I think 15 is great, 12.5 is probably just as good, and you can keep the factory lug nuts. So I do love the look of it. It's more flush for sure. So I did go with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't dynoed the car yet. I'm actually looking forward to doing so. Should be doing that pretty soon. My goal with the car is to break into the 400. It is a daily driver. I do want to track the car a little bit more, maybe a couple times during the summer. But as I mentioned, Texas gets super hot, so got to be cognizant of that and make sure I'm taking care of the car as well. So let's talk about ownership. So again, I've owned this car for a little over a year, and to give you a little background of my car history, so I have a 71 VW bus, which I still own. I started with a 71 VW bus, got that freshman year of high school. Then I had an 84 Toyota pickup truck, just daily driver, high school car, right? Then I also drove a Toyota Tundra. And then from there, I went Subaru WRX. I had an 07 WRX. Then I went Mazda Speed 3. Then I went Camaro SS, 2010 Camaro SS. And then from there, I went to an Audi S3, 2016. And then I actually traded that Audi for this car. So a lot of people gave me a hard time, friends, family, like, why would you trade an Audi for a hatchback, right? A lot of different reasons. I think the interior and everything the Audi had was absolutely incredible. I did the cross-stitching, the RS package on that car. One thing I did not enjoy, because it's a daily driver and I enjoy driving my cars, is that it was a paddle shifter. Now, it was very smooth. It was Audi's paddle shifter. I forget what it's called. I know PDK's Porsche. Audi has great paddle shifters. I mean, you could not even tell shifting gears. It was so smooth. But I just didn't enjoy it, right? If I'm gonna buy a car, however much it is, if I'm gonna buy a car of that price, I want to enjoy driving it. And another thing is everywhere I went, people were like, "Oh, you're driving Audi? You driving Audi? That's so cool." Listen, I'd rather drive a car that nobody knows about except car people, right? So whenever I take this car anywhere, car meets or even like valet, they're like, "Oh, that's an RS, that's so cool." So I definitely love this car. Out of all the cars that I mentioned, this car has been the most enjoyable I've ever had in a car. Super reliable. It is obviously has great performance numbers without heavy modifications, right? Out of the factory, it has great performance numbers, and I've really just enjoyed it. It's just like a little bulldog, a little pit bull of a car, and it's a blast. And then taking it to the track, holy cow, was that a crazy experience. If you guys ever get the opportunity to take your car to the track, I would highly recommend it. Now, doing it on a regular basis as a daily driver, that's completely up to you. But doing it once, nothing's going to happen, right? You can drive as slow, as fast as you want. I went pretty aggressively, and I think I already have a video uploaded about that. It was a great time. But overall, I love this car. I love the color. I've enjoyed doing minor modifications, engine modifications, tuning. Everything that I've done has been great, and I love it. And just look at it. It just shines in the sun. I love this color. It's sort of like the Nardo gray of Audi, but absolutely love it. So let's talk about some of the things that I don't like about the car. Okay? And I've already talked about a little bit of it. But just a elephant in the room, right? Head gasket issue, blah blah blah. Listen, there was a very small percentage of cars that were affected by that worldwide, but they majority did have the wrong head gasket. I think pretty much everything outside of 2018 had the Mustang revision, I believe revision B, which they need revision C, but not a lot of cars were affected performance wise, like, you know, blowing their motors. So that was a nightmare. The bigger issue is the dealerships. So I can't tell you how many people and how many stories I read. I got to a point where I was thinking about selling the car. I was a little concerned about it, where people take it into the dealership, they're voiding the warranties immediately if there's any modifications done to it, which per the FSA doesn't really matter if it has modifications. They need to replace it either way. And then wait times of 30, 60, 90 days, people claiming lemon laws, all this stuff, and it's just absolutely awful. So I was part of that, right? I was thinking about selling the car. I was like, shoot, if this is an issue and I want to have this car for a while, I don't know if it's worth it, right? I don't know if it's worth it. Luckily for me, I have a great dealership here in Dallas. They absolutely took care of me. They said it was going to take about 30 days or something like that, and they got it back to me in like 2 weeks. It didn't have any leak. I think one of the cylinders had, I think, -1 pressure leak, which is not a big deal, but they changed a head gasket, got all that done. It's been running smooth I mean, it was running smooth prior to, so it wasn't a big issue. But that is a downside, right? Elephant in the room, head gasket. But I can tell you what, if you're in the market for a car, definitely consider it, because they stopped production on these cars last month, I believe, but Ford also announced that they're done with production on Focuses, everything pretty much but an electric car and the Mustang, and then their trucks and commercial line and all that. So in a couple years, hopefully these cars start retaining some value. You know, I don't buy a car for investment, right? You're an idiot if you do, unless you're in the high end or super rare cars. You do it because you love it and you love driving, you love the car, right? So, but if you are in the market, now is a great time to get it. I just read some guy got a 2017 that was still new, less than 100 miles on it, and it was like $8,000 off MSRP, which is ridiculous, because I know people buying these cars, they're paying $8,000 above MSRP for it. Luckily for me, I got about $1,000 off. I got the RS2 package, so the highest package you can get on the car. Absolutely love it. But let's circle back to some of the things I also don't like. So this seat, I don't think you're going to be able to tell, it moves, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think you're going to be able to see it down here, but the seat moves. So about 3,000 miles into it, I was taking a turn and click. That's weird. Click. The seat, the Recaro seat is on rails, and for some reason, I don't know if it's Recaro, I don't know if it's Ford, but it slides on the rail left and right, which is absolutely insane. So per some research, there was a solution to it, $20 thankfully, and they're white line end link clamps that fit perfectly on that rail, and you just put it on the rail and then the seat stays firm. It still moves a little bit, very minor, but not like it was before, and it's pretty dangerous, right? So that's another thing I don't like about the car. I talked about the floor mat, shifting gears. That's just annoying. I mean, you can buy a Weatherline or WeatherTech, whatever the heck it's called, and get new liners or just take it out like that. Another thing was coming factory, the wheels were really tucked in. I did not like that whatsoever, so got rid of that. I'm trying to think what else of the car I'm not a fan of. I think everything else. Oh, so this is more of a racing thing. So if you look here, this pedal is very far back compared to the brake and clutch. As you can see, this is even. There's about, I don't know, 2-inch gap. So for heel toe shifting, it is rough. It is very difficult. I am planning on buying a spacer to get the pedal a little further out to align with the brake and clutch. But that's another thing that I don't like about the car. But that's what, $50, something like that, $60 to get something to replace that. So not too bad, not too big of a deal. And I'm trying to think what else that wasn't. So it actually has a, looks like a dog's coming after me. So factory, they come with a blanking plate, but I'm in Texas, so that was meant for people that are in cold weather, right? And it actually absorbs a little too much moisture, so that's why they had it, but it ripped that sucker off immediately. I think that is it, guys. I will be doing more videos more regularly. I am hopefully going to get the upgraded intercooler with the piping, the plumbing in the next month or so, so I'll be installing that, and that would complete the B3 package for Mountune. So I'll have everything that you need for the car. I do have a wastegate actuator and spark plugs. I haven't decided to put either of those in just yet, just waiting on Mountune to give me some insight on that, and if it's needed. You know, with the wastegate actuator, I love the ability to be able to have the tune and put it back to factory whenever I want. Now, it's pretty obvious that this car is in stock, right? It's lowered, it has exhaust. I mean, you open up the hood, you can tell that there's a new air filter, right? It's inlet, so you can tell that it's modified. But I do like the ability to be able to take off the tune. With a wastegate actuator, you can't do that, right? So that's it. Yeah, I appreciate everybody coming back, watching the channel. Again, I will be posting a little more videos, and anything that you guys want to see or talk about, I'm more than happy to do. But yeah, I appreciate it. Hope everybody's having a great weekend, great day, and talk to you guys later.